A news report on TV made a girl named Annie discover something absolutely chilling. She suspected her father, the man she lived with day in and day out, might actually be a serial killer. Because in that report, the necklace worn by the murdered girl was identical to the one around her own neck. And this necklace was the birthday gift her father had just given her not long ago. Unable to believe it, Annie immediately took off the necklace to compare it closely, only to discover in horror that even the tiniest scratches on the pendant perfectly matched the details shown in the news footage. A cold chill rose from the pit of her stomach as Annie immediately opened her computer and started searching for recent cases of missing girls in their small town. The search results left her stunned. 13 girls had already been killed in town recently, and an even more terrifying detail was that all the victims bore a striking resemblance to her late mother. Could this be a coincidence? Thinking about how her father had been leaving early and coming home late so frequently lately, a strong sense of unease gripped Annie's heart. To verify that horrible suspicion in her mind, Annie nervously snuck into her father's room. In one of the drawers, she unexpectedly found a large amount of anesthetic. Then a sketchbook made her freeze completely. It contained detailed information about all the recently murdered girls. Just as Annie was shocked beyond belief, the sound of a car engine came from outside. Her father was back. To avoid being discovered, Annie hurriedly put the sketchbook back in its place, pocketed a bottle of anesthetic, then quickly slipped out of the room and returned to her own bedroom, forcing herself to stay calm. Just as she breathed a sigh of relief, Annie suddenly remembered the TV downstairs was still on, playing the news report. Her heart tightened as she rushed downstairs and hit the power button 1 second before her father walked through the door. That's when she noticed her father was wearing a pair of leather gloves. The father and daughter then sat side by side on the couch with the TV playing, but Annie's mind was already miles away. Annie accidentally cut her hand on a piece of broken glass, and her father immediately tended to her wound with such gentleness. Watching her father's thoughtful care, Annie wavered. She couldn't connect this gentle man in front of her with a killer and began to wonder if she was just being paranoid. However, as night fell, Annie tossed and turned. Just then, a noise came from the hallway. It was her father lowering the ladder to the attic. Hearing the sounds coming from above, Annie was certain her father was up there doing something secretive. The next morning, Annie decided to test her father. She took out the necklace and casually asked if he'd bought her a flawed second-hand item as a gift, because there were some tiny scratches on it. Her father only vaguely said he hadn't inspected it carefully when he bought it.
So then maybe you can exchange it for a new one.
Then her father refused Annie's suggestion to exchange it, claiming it was the last one in the store. After breakfast, her father drove to work as usual. Watching his retreating figure, Annie felt for the first time that this normally kind and gentle man was actually a complete stranger. She could no longer suppress the doubts in her heart and decided to investigate the attic herself. She quietly lowered the ladder, turned on her flashlight, and climbed up step by step. In the depths of the attic, Annie discovered a strange canvas-wrapped bundle.